Good morning, everyone. It is really early here. I've been at the office for a while now, and it's not even, well, it's just turned 7 in the morning. So early risers, all that. Today is the last day of this game jam, and I had some issues last night with everything, pretty much. Primarily Unity, or really Visual Studio, just fell over entirely and decided that it would not save my source files, which is, I have never seen that before. So I tried restarting my computer, I tried some stuff, and nothing really helped. So I had to use a different text editor to just make sure that the stuff I had done already was in fact saved. We'll see if it works today, but one thing that's going to happen today is that I'm not going to have time to talk a bunch. I'm just going to have to haul on this as much as I can to get something ready, because this is what I have right now. And also I had the physics just completely implode yesterday. I was trying to fix the turning, and it's improved, but it's really tricky to ensnare a boat still, which is frustrating, because that is like, it is both literally frustrating in the game and also quite frustrating because I spent so much time on it and it's still not working correctly. And I think the issue is that I have a bunch of, if we bring up the snake head, you can see all the properties here on the side that tweak different things, and none of them really, because that's kind of the issue. Like, the physics themselves work okay, and then I tried making the turning better, and I added a little special case kind of thing, and that didn't really work. So I added a second special case kind of thing, and that also helped a little bit. Then I added a third one and a fourth one, and now it's just too complicated to work with, essentially. Like, the code is fine, it's just the system itself is so complex. It's really hard to tell where the forces are coming from and what's making it behave the way it is. So what I really should be doing is just tearing a bunch of it out and try to do it again and hope for better luck a second time, because all the stuff I have now isn't really working. But as far as I know, I have, 5 hours, just under, to finish this, to have something, and it's not going to be great. That the boat sailed on that a long time ago, but I do want to make it something, because right now it's not even there's one poor little sailor here, and you can just run into it, I guess, and nothing happens, it just bounces around. So what my plan for the morning is to make so that when the boat spins, the sailors pop out of them. I have Nicholas has made some sounds for me last night and yesterday afternoon. He also made some music, so I'm going to put that in. And then we'll see how far I get. I'd love to get back, or I would love for this snake just to work. I'm not super keen on going back and breaking it all over again, but I am kind of keen to get it. It would be nice if it worked. I'm not super excited about going back in and like breaking everything again and having to balance it all over. But that would be preferable, to have the physics for the snake work well, because it is. Let's see if I can get this up so you can see. The snake moves fairly nicely. Like, I wouldn't mind it being slightly faster. And if you're just driving in a straight line and you turn, it looks fine. But the trick is, if you drive next to a boat and you turn kind of sharply, you either just turn into the boat, or you just miss it. Like, you turn. I didn't expect it to be that hard. One thing I'm going to try right now is to make the boat slightly smaller, see if that makes any difference, because I made them bigger before. So it used to be 1.7. I'll make it 1.3, let's say. Because that also has an effect on how easy or hard it is to like get around them. Now I got 2. That's basically never happened before. So that's nice, but once it's not data. Got one again, kinda, at least. I also have, I can tweak how much you need to spin them. This actually was a pretty good improvement. I think I am also being slightly careful, because you can't just go full speed and then turn next to the boat. Yeah, that was a good change. That was a load off my mind immediately, so that's nice. So I guess we'll just get on with it. And the sound is working. I hope I didn't actually check that super carefully. It is. Should also bring up my second computer so I can see if you're talking to me. Someone is. Come on, Twitch website. Here we go. So yeah, now if you type stuff in the chat, I will actually see it. I am noticing that I forgot to turn on a thing. It's easy to forget stuff when I had to restart my computer. I lost a bunch of stuff that was running that I kind of need. Is there any way? That should work, I think. I enabled the overlay thing that's up here. Normally I have to restart OBS to get that working, but I think I managed to hack around it. Okay, cool. I really hope Visual Studio doesn't follow her again today, because I have no idea how to deal with that. I've never seen that before. Like it would, like I'd change stuff in the file and you get this little star up here telling you that the file has been changed, and you press save, either save in the menu bar or just Control S on the keyboard, and the star wouldn't go away. Nothing would happen. And I could look at the file with another text editor and I could see that it didn't change. And it was super confusing, because what you do when you're developing in Unity is you're changing a bunch of stuff in your text editor, you jump over to Unity, you run the game, and you're not entirely sure if Unity picked up the changes. I mean, you assume it did, and then after you've been tweaking something for a while, you realize this is nothing's happening. It's not actually doing anything. But that took a while before I figured out what was even going on. So I closed Visual Studio, and you can go back and look at the recording, I suppose, but I had an inkling this was going on, so I actually copied the entire text file, closed Visual Studio, and it's like, hey, do you want to save your file before you exit? I say yes, and it doesn't save the file and closes. Annoying, but most of all worrying, because if that happens again, I don't know how that's going to be resolved, really. But we'll cross that bridge when we get to it, I suppose. So now we have a sailor. Or should we do, let's do sounds first. That'll be fun. I have prepared. I haven't even listened to these sounds, so we'll do that together, and we'll take it from there. Unpacking stuff. And when I say unpacking, I actually recompressed the sound files. Here we go. So here's a bunch of sound effects. This is gonna be pretty good. This is very World of Goo in a good way, and then a bunch of impact sounds. Bonk, bonk, bonk. Have I switched from Haxe to Unity for game dev? Or is this just for this jam? Don't know yet. Like I'm trying Unity out. There hasn't been an official decision. I think I probably will switch. But we'll see. Haxe still. Still is a good friend of mine. Few Men Left is asking where I got these sound effects. I will show you how this happened. Is there a way I can... Okay. See if I can pull this off. So Nicholas sent me this video last night.
Hello, I'm gonna explain to you how I make ship sound. I went into the harbor and I rented a suitable ship, and I had most expensive microphones, and I built a perfect room around it so that I would get the perfect sound, and I went there and I had this beast of a worm that was swimming around, and I impacted them with a perfect force to get the perfect sound. This is how it looks. Oh. Thank you. Thank you for listening and being learned how to do the best sounds.
So that's how I got those sound effects. Nicholas made them for me. He is my friend and also a sound designer. He did sounds for Game Capsule and Twofold and a bunch of other gamejam. My last Mojang game. And the Mojang game before that as well. He's a good guy. See if I can get this song in here too. I don't know if Unity can play OGG files. We shall see. It turned into a .long. Incredibly impressive accordion music, because I've never played the accordion before, but he, as far as I know, I guess he has played the accordion before a little bit, but he's not an accordion player by any stretch. Just made this. He's a wizard on an actual accordion, on my accordion, which I have, because it's a thing you need to have. So that's super cool. So I'm really excited to get those in there. I wonder if there is a practical way to play multiple sound effects randomly that does not involve me writing a bunch of code to do it. I think we need some motivational music. I think we're gonna do. Okay, it turned the music off. Thanks, Unity. I think we're gonna do it. I need to deal with this at some point, regardless. So I think I'm gonna make a little custom controller type of thing. Because I do have two things that I need to play sound effects at random. Let's call it random sound. Create and add. And this will there's a tag you can put that says that it needs to have such and such module on it. Oh well, don't care. Oh hooray! It's not updating the mono behavior thing, is it? It's doing it again. It is saving the files. That's always something. I'll just software development. It's not for humans, that's for sure. And there we go. So this will have a public sound clip. Is that not the name of the thing? What? Pretty sure Unity calls them sound clip. Audio clip. Same. The Nintendo Classic Mini has just been released. I'm not entirely sure what I am supposed to do with that information. I mean, that's cool. And everything. Imagine how nice it would be if I could just drag all of these guys into here like that. But it seems like that is not happening. Three, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then it's what? Audio source needs. I don't know if you noticed, but I said I wasn't going to talk as much. Here we are. Me talking much. Void play random. And then we'll have a int that is last played. The wrong random. Give me the Unity random. That was the correct random. Times sounds length. So this should be, it's 1.0 inclusive. Stop it, Unity. Oh, it'll be fine. Rymix is asking if this is C++. This is C# using Unity. So it is a C variant, but what isn't these days? Don't answer that question. Spider-Man APV. Hey, just jumped in from the Humble page. It's a quick TLDR for what you're working on. I am working on a game about a snake at sea. spinning boats eating sailors. It's not going well. Well, it's going well. It's just going much too slow. But we'll get there. Do this while R&D is -1 or R&D is last played. R&D is a random sound. And we'll do something like if sounds length is 0, just return. Put that up here. If sounds length, someone subscribed. I wasn't paying attention. The reason I'm the only one streaming is that it's still 7 in the morning in Sweden. So I think the other guys ran late. I just gave up at like 7 and went home. Someone subscribed again. Ryamix, awesome. Thank you very much. I wish I saw who subscribed before that, but I didn't because I didn't have the window up. Sorry. Pengo the Fluffy. Thank you, Shatters, for keeping me honest. So if sound length is 1, I suppose we'll also just return because we can't very well pick a random. What do you want? And then we'll go source play one shot, I think is the one. Then I'll have a public float called max frequency, which is like 0.3 seconds. What is your favorite shortcut to use when programming? Do you mean like a keyboard shortcut, or more of a like a figurative thing? My favorite shortcut, when you meant an actual keyboard shortcut. That's a interesting question. I use copy pasting a ton, much more than I should be. Like I'd rather press 5 keys to go up and copy paste 3 letters. I also really like in Visual Studio, you can press Control Q to comment a line. Flash Developer is smarter about it because you can press Control Q to toggle the comment on a line. In Visual Studio, you actually have to press Control Shift Q to uncomment a line. That's annoying. I also like having Control Alt up and down move the current line. I installed ReSharper the other day, and that just overrode that shortcut with it, which is I need to fix that because I keep trying to use it, but now it's doing something different. So that's not ideal. Let's see if we can make these boats play some sounds. Boat controller. Sound, random sound. We could call that sound, maybe. Can't remember what I played random. That probably needs to be a public function. So this runs the chance of being kind of loud and obnoxious. It's surprisingly hard to tell. I guess the random thing is working, at least. The relatively linear velocity of the two objects. Let's print that and we'll see what we're getting. Because this function runs whenever two objects are colliding. But I only want to play a sound effect if there's some power to the collision. I think under like under 1 we can probably ignore. And we'll just not play a sound effect. Are they? Feels like there's a bunch of latency to get them to play, which there shouldn't be. Like it doesn't look like there is. These are just super short sounds. That Impact 2 is probably the one with the longest lead in. Maybe Impact 6 is up there as well. .14. 0.014 seconds. That's not... That is a very short time. Maybe it's from the way I'm doing the sound on the stream. There's a slight delay that is actually entirely possible. It's fine. It's fine. I don't have time to deal with it. Sounds. That's a very descriptive commit message. So let's get rid of this sailor. Did I make the sailor a prefab? I did not make the sailor a prefab. Then we'll do the audio source, random sound. There's a lot of these. Sailor. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'll switch it over so you can see what I'm doing. Six, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So when they say overboard, that's exactly what we're dealing with here. So that's hooked up. We'll make a prefab out of this. I'm pretty sure I made a prefab out of the sailor, but I guess I didn't. Bob Moff is saying I can drag them all at once. I don't understand how to do that. So if you can expand on that. Okay, if I have the sailor selected and I have my thing selected here, and I drag all of these, like that unselects the sailor, I suppose. And selecting the sailor up here unselects these down here. And it won't let me drag the folder, I think. So I don't know what else I could do. There is a tiny lock. Oh, so that's what that does. Interesting. That is incredibly obtuse, but cool. I'll I don't want to touch this, so I don't have to do this all over again. But that is useful. Thank you for that. I learned something today. What was I doing? I was gonna make the sailors a prefab. That's good. Let's make the sailor controller. That can't really be doing much. No. Let's have it go. Get components, random sound, play random. The problem with this is that they get randomly ordered. Well, that would have been fine for my purposes, but that is annoying. in general that is annoying. So if I start now, it should be, this guy should make a sound. He did. I keep calling them he. I don't want them to be dudes. I want them to be just sailors. I don't want to push my agenda on them. So when a boat has spun X number of rotations, we want to spawn something. So we want a public sailor controller, I guess. Sailor prefab boat. And we'll put this little sailor in there. Look at him. Them, I mean. Oh, you have a sort script. That's useful. Okay, I won't have time to look at that today, but do send it to me. That'll be useful at some point. I'm amazed at Unity's like these array, because it lets you edit an array in the editor, but just having it be size, like if I want to remove this item here, it is just a world of pain, because there's no, like I suppose I can delete the array element, but just like inserting an array element in the middle is really complicated. Reordering them is really much harder than it should be. And the editor is really good for many other things, but just array management is not really, it's not really up there with everything else. So anyway, let's just, on rotation complete, let's just try this. So this is going to spawn the sailor inside the boat. We'll see what happens. It's dawning on me that I'm going to have to be spinning these boats around now a whole bunch. And it's still really annoying, so I'm not, at this very moment, I am not super pleased about that. Argument exception. What now? The object you want to instantiate is null. On rotation complete, line 82. Oh, I forgot to apply the prefab. Spin. I'm not sure what happened there. This is the worst game. Here we go. Spin. Sailor. Sailor. That actually works much better than I thought it would. So for the boat, we'll make this thing. And we'll make it that you have to turn about 180 degrees. Object reference not set to instance of an object. Okay. For what? The sailor? Also did the same thing with the sailor then. They're just randomly pooping out sailors. That's not ideal. Let's put it that way. Oh my god, it's so annoying. I have one sort of fallback trick I can try with the snake, because I came up with the idea of it is somehow messing up playing a sound for the sailors. Did I not do the audio source correctly? We'll see. Yeah, so when they randomly appear, or when they're spawned by the boats, they will not play the sound. Line 27. So either it is picking a random sound that's not available, or it is not finding the audio source. That is probably what it's doing, actually. Because I'm not entirely sure that the start function has had time to run. So let's just do it this. See if that helps. Well, I was saying I have one idea that might fix up the physics for the snake a little bit at least. Have it so that you can press a button and the snake will like curl up. If it's bent in a segment, it will just try to bend more there. That seemed to work pretty well. He said affirmative. That is very Worms. I suppose we're gonna make it so that the sailors actually get eaten as well. That is going to be easier to do from the snake controller. Void on collision, enter 2D. If other game object get component, sailor controller is not null, we will destroy other game object. Grump, grump, grump. It's surprisingly hard to hit the sailors. Every time I try to like ensnare a boat, I just get this want to get up and go home. That's game design trick. If your game makes you want to get up and go home, you probably need to change some stuff. I really got him now. Rum, 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 rum. Nice. I suppose I need to make the sailors actually sink or go away after a while too. So I think it's time for a little break for me. Before we do that, I'm just gonna make this game explode. Game controller, number of boats, 128. Maximize. And then we'll go Unity. Okay, before we do that, I think this needs tweaking. And sailor. So now I made it so that sailors will only stay for a maximum of 4 seconds once they've spawned, which I think is too short for the game, but it is something at least. We're gonna play the music as well, so you get the full